All right, IM1 classes. We are on our second day of writing equations in slope-intercept form. So the first day, we were just given the slope and the y-intercept, and we put in the appropriate spots for slope-intercept form, where we looked at the graph of a line, counted the slope on the y-intercept, and then put that information into the equation. Today, we are going to be given the slope and a point that is not the y-intercept, and we're going to look at how to find the equation of the line that way, what to do about having a point that's not the y-intercept. So again, just a quick reminder, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope, and again, slope is rise over run, how far up the line goes over how far left or right it goes. And then b is the y-intercept, that is the point where it crosses the y-axis, the straight up and down axis. All right, so let's look at our example. We're going to write an equation of the line that passes through the given point with the given slope. So the slope m is 3, it passes through the point 1, 2. So to do this, what we actually want to do is start in point slope form. That's what we learned last week. The y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. We want to start with that, and then we solve for y. So point slope form is something we're familiar with, and then solving these equations for y is something we're also familiar with. So it's not that, it's nothing really new. This is stuff we've done before. But real quick, so this is the x, this is the y, and we count this as x1, y1. So to start in point slope form, you need to put these values into the appropriate spots. So the slope 3 is going to go in for m here. So the slope 3 x1. So just make sure you're careful with where you're putting that x1 and y1. Most common mistake I see is kids putting the x1 and y1, switching up those spots. So make sure you're doing the x minus the x coordinate and the y minus the y coordinate. But x1 is 1, and then y1 is going to come around here, go in right here. So y1 is 2. So in point slope form, the equation is y minus 2 is equal to 3 times x minus 1. So now all we need to do is solve for y. So first thing I'm going to do is solve for y is distribute the 3. So 3 times x is 3x. Bring down the 1, or bring down the minus sign. And then 3 times 1, don't forget to multiply the second term in the parentheses. That is a common mistake. So 3 times 1 is 3. And then finish solving, I need to get y by itself. So I just need to move this minus 2 to the other side by adding 2 to each side. Minus 2 plus 2 cancels out. I get y is equal to 3x. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. And then we're done. So again, the steps. Start in point slope form. The y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. And then once it's in point slope form, solve for y. And there you have it in slope-intercept form. So let's do one more example of that. So again, we are going to start in point slope form. So y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Then I'll write it again underneath for when we're solving. Oh, but leave in blanks. All right, so the slope, or before I get to that, this is the x, this is a y, so this is going to be x1, y1. So the slope, 3/4 goes in for m. So this is going to be 3/4. x1 is 4. Comes down right here. So this becomes 4. And then the negative 5, that's the y1. comes over here. So that's -5. All right. Next, just need to solve. I am going to include a line of separation on this one. I forgot to do that for the last problem. Here's a line of separation. You need to distribute the 3/4. So 3/4 times x is going to be 3/4 x. Bring down the minus sign. 3/4 times 4. If you're not good with doing the fractions in your head, you can just do it off to the side. 3/4 times 4. Make the 4 a fraction. Multiply straight across. 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 1 is 4. Reduce. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Y minus a negative. Remember, minus a negative turns into a positive. So minus a -5 is actually +5. And then last step, just eliminate that 5 by subtracting. So that cancels out. You get y is equal to 3/4 x. -3 minus 5 is -8. So that's what you need to do if you're given a slope and a point. The last thing we need to talk about today, so we just have a couple more problems, is what to do if you're giving 2 points. All right. So we have half the information that we need. We have a point. So what we need to figure out is a slope. And to figure out the slope, we can just use that formula that we've learned. So y2 minus y1 on top, x2 minus x1 on bottom. So when I'm finding the slope, I just draw my division line, my 2 subtraction lines. This is pretty easy just to color code it. So this will be my x2, y2. The yellow point will come first here. This point here. Fill in right there. What's important to remember, the y's go on top. So the y from this point is -5 and then 0 below it. The y from this point is 4 and then 3 below it. Now I can subtract. -5 minus 4 is -9. 0 minus 3 is -3. -9 divided by -3 is +3. So the slope is +3. So now we have the information that we need to write the equation in point slope form. So for this, you actually have some options of what you want to use. It doesn't matter which point you use. All right. If you think about it for a second, you might make it a little bit easier for yourself, create a little bit less work for you. So if you see like this point with the 0, if you think about it, this would end up being the y, the -5 would end up being the y-intercept because it's 0, -5. You can just put in, it's going to end up being y equals 3x minus 5. Just for today, just so we can see the solving equation, I'm going to use this point for my x1, y1. So my slope is 3, so that goes in for m. All right, I'll use some arrows. So the slope is 3, that's going in for m. The x1 is also 3. That goes in for x1 here, so that's 3. And then the 4 is the y1, so that goes here. All right, so I'm going to distribute to solve for y. So 3 times x is 3x minus 3 times 3 is 9. And then finish solving. You need to move that -4 to the other side. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. This cancels out. and I get y is equal to 3x. Negative 9 plus 4 is negative 5. All right, one last example. So same thing, find the slope. So to find the slope, I'm going to draw my division line, my two subtraction lines. I'm just going to color code this because that's easiest. So the 0, 6 is going to go first. The negative 1, 1 is going to go second. So the 6 on top, 0 on bottom. This one is 1 on top, negative 1 on bottom. Before we add, check it out. There's the double negative. So minus a negative 1 becomes plus 1. So I'm going to change this to 0 plus 1. So 6 minus 1 is 5. 0 plus 1 is 1. And that all just simplifies to 5. All right. So once you have that, you're going to start the equation in point slope form. You're going to do it without all the arrows and stuff this time just to make it look nice and clean. So the m is 5. It does not matter which point you use, and in fact, the y-intercept is actually going to be 6. So this would actually be the easiest point to use, but just so we can see what to do with this, I'm going to pick negative 1, 1. So x1 is negative 1, so I'm going to change x1 to negative 1. And then y1 is 1, so I'm going to change this to 1. All right. Check this out. We have minus a negative 1. Minus a negative becomes positive. So before you do anything, change the minus and negative to a plus. So that's x plus 1. Now, finish solving for y. Just 2 steps. All you need to do is distribute. So I'm going to do 5 times x. It's 5x plus 5 times 1 is 5. So y minus 1 is equal to 5x plus 5. And then you're going to add 1 to both sides. Y is equal to 5x plus 6. That is it. Your assignment is on Edge Elastic again. Get to work on that assignment. If you have any questions, please email me. Other than that, we will see you guys next time.